I've never played Live Alive before. It was arguably hard to do so considering the game was released exclusively in Japan in 1994, and unless you followed a translation guide or imported the game, there hasn't been an easily accessible legal way of playing this game in the States recently, at least until now. Square Enix and Nintendo have partnered up to publish a new remake of the beloved JRPG, complete with full translation, updated visuals, and quality of life improvements that make revisiting this part of JRPG history all the better. When it was originally released in 1994, Live Alive made a name for itself for its approach to storytelling. Instead of a linear campaign, Live Alive offered 7 character vignettes to play through that all took place in different points in time. This means you could be playing as a cowboy westerner in one storyline and suddenly a shinobi in Edo, Japan in another. Despite their different backgrounds and time periods, Live Alive finds a way to bring this ensemble of unlikely heroes together in unprecedented and surprising ways, at least for 1994. The latter half of the story isn't as tightly put together as the first half, stumbling as it sticks to landing. However, even now you can see how the game's story and execution continues to live the test of time and inspire other games to follow a similar design choice. You can start the game with any of the characters, and the pick up and play save nature allows you to swap between the various storylines, all of which reference various points of pop culture and history that you might be able to connect. The entire campaign tallies up to about 20 hours or so, and if you take your time that's probably extended to 25 hours, and if you rush it you can cut it down to around 16. While the writing itself hasn't really changed, this remake does offer full-on voice acting, helping to better carry on that narrative. The different time setting and characters not only dictate the direction of their stories, but also encompasses unique gameplay mechanics that are somewhat brought together on a unified battle system. Live Alive uses a grid turn-based battle system that is used across the various characters. Characters don't use an MP bar, but instead a bar that charges over time, letting you manage your turns to execute more costly attacks. As you move around and perform attacks, different parts of the grid will highlight, letting you plan out your attacks. The differences in gameplay come from the characters themselves and their abilities. You see, the time period and setting essentially warp who you're fighting and what they can do. The shinobi, for example, will be infiltrating castles with the ability to quickly hide away, getting the jump on enemies. Theoretically, you can even play a pacifist route through this character and avoid fighting for the most part. The Western character, on the other hand, takes place in the more traditional Wild West setting, where the protagonist fires a long-range weapon as opposed to the shinobi's environmental affecting attacks. The change-up between characters helps keep exploring the different environments, battling various foes, and just experiencing different sights and references, all the more exciting. It's but one of the many ways Live Alive sets itself apart by not only giving you different branches of a story, but making them feel unique from each other, both in gameplay and in writing. Even then, I never really could predict what was going to happen next, at least not exactly. Outside of the campaign, I was happy to see side quests and areas that rewarded me with new environments and scenarios for investing more time into the game beyond the main campaign. That's not to say it wasn't easy to get enticed either, with the number of homages, references, and general pop culture inspirations that rivals the likes of the Mother series. Playing through Live Alive was an enjoyable time, even so many years later. I think it certainly paced better in the first 2/3 over the last one, but even then, I came out of this campaign shocked and somewhat amazed that it's over 25 years old. When Live Alive was originally released, it paved the way for a lot of remarkable JRPGs we'd see from Square Enix. Chrono Trigger released only a year later and is a prime example of it. I strongly believe you can see the progression in the artwork and the sprite work between the two titles. This is why I was more than happy to see Square Enix go back and not only rework the visuals of the original game, but also adapt them into their now new iconic 2D HD style that became prominent with Octopath Traveler. The change in perspective looks fantastic in this remake, along with the colors that are now more than ever really popping on the OLED Switch's display. The performance, on the other hand, feels a little weird. The entire game targets about 30 frames per second, and while I don't expect a game like this to struggle on the Switch, it does feel like there's a weird frame pacing issue, especially when crossing the bridges in the introduction of the Shinobi storyline. I am at least happy that the resolution here looks fairly sharp both in dock and portable mode, but a bit disappointed by the odd frame pacing. I honestly would have expected better optimization at this point, with most of the 2D HD games coming to the Switch exclusively, or at least first. Luckily, Live Alive isn't a reaction heavy game, so it doesn't completely ruin the experience or hurt it enough to say it's that bad. One of the biggest changes with this remake is the fact that full-on voice work has been added for both the original Japanese writing and the new English translation. It's a welcome addition that makes playing through this JRPG a more accessible experience. While I enjoyed the voice acting for the most part, some of the English performance work does slack behind the Japanese work. I do at least appreciate the little touches to the performance direction, like the change in accents between different time periods and regions to better fit the time and setting of said story. Variations like that could easily be missed when a game is solely written out, but with the new voice acting, I think it's a great attention to detail. As for the music, if you're a fan of the Kingdom Hearts series like myself, you will surely recognize a hint of that through Yoko Shimomura's impeccable soundtrack. Her 2022 revisions of these songs sound remarkable, with way more oomph to them. Tracks like Megalomania and Warm Alive, specifically the intro to that song, sound so darn good. It almost sounds like a prelude to Kingdom Hearts 2's Twilight Town. It's beautiful. Live Alive is a piece of JRPG history, and this remake makes it the most accessible way to play, while still improving upon what made it so remarkable in the first place. The branching narrative structure continues to be interesting, while the updated visuals and audio presentation make it a worthwhile modern take on an amazing idea. Those that grew up playing it are surely to find something new and enjoyable to experience, while those that missed out on it like me will surely understand why veterans were so excited when this was announced.